In a business world, there's a new C-suite taking shape, and it's all being driven by the power and the peril of artificial intelligence. Today, we're going to break down two of the most critical new roles in this revolution, the Chief AI Officer and the Chief AI Security Officer. Let's dive in. So here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. We'll start with the huge, high-stakes problem that created these jobs in the first place. Then, we'll properly introduce you to the new AI C-suite and break down the differences between the visionary and the protector. After that, we'll look at how they fit in with the rest of the leadership team, outline the skills you're going to need, and finally, show you how all this knowledge gives you a serious competitive edge. So, why the sudden rush for these brand new executive roles? Well, it all boils down to a multi-million-dollar problem that is absolutely keeping board members up at night. Get this, $4.88 million. According to our source material, that's the average cost of a single data breach. That's just a staggering number, and for a lot of companies, it's a risk they literally can't afford to take. And what's even more terrifying is that attacks aimed specifically at AI could be way, way more expensive. The truth is, a lot of traditional security teams are just outmatched. They're facing a whole new world of threats that their old playbooks were never built for. And these are not your typical cyber threats. Nope. We're talking about things like adversarial attacks that are designed to fool AI models, data poisoning that messes up how they learn, and even prompt injections that can hijack the tools your customers use. These are brand new vulnerabilities created by the very AI we're all trying to use. Okay, so when you've got risks this big, and let's be honest, opportunities that are just as massive, companies are realizing they can't just hand this off to the existing team. They need specialized leaders. And that's where our two new heroes enter the picture. First up, we've got the Chief AI Officer, or CAIO. The easiest way to think about the CAIO is as the grand strategist. It's their job to make sure every single AI project, every algorithm, every dollar spent lines up perfectly with the company's biggest goals. They're in charge of the whole shebang. And then, on the other side of the coin, you have the Chief AI Security Officer, the CAIO-SO. So if the CAIO is the visionary, the CAIO-SO is the guardian. This leader is basically your company's insurance policy against all those crazy new threats we just looked at. Their whole job is protecting systems that are constantly learning and changing all on their own. So, we have a visionary and a protector. One is pushing for growth, the other is trying to manage risk. But what does that really look like day to day? And more importantly, how do they actually work together? This slide just breaks it down perfectly. The CIO is like the orchestra conductor, making sure the entire AI strategy is playing in beautiful harmony. The CISO, on the other hand, is like a special forces operator, super specialized, laser-focused on defending against really unique and dangerous threats. And that brings us to a really, really important point. A CAISO is not just a CISO with AI slapped on their title. A traditional CISO protects systems that are pretty static, right? But a CAISO has to secure systems that are basically alive. They're always learning, always evolving, and making their own calls. It's a completely different ballgame. So this brings up a big question. How do these powerful new roles actually fit into the existing leadership team? Let's take a look at this new C-suite constellation. Okay, so traditionally, a company's head of security reports to one of these four people. If they report to the CIO, you're aligning security with IT. To the CTO, you're baking it into the products. To the general counsel, it's all about compliance. And reporting to the CEO, well, that puts security at the very top of the strategic food chain. Each one has its pros and cons. The answer isn't some neat little box on an org chart. It's all about collaboration. The CIO has to work hand in hand with the CTO on new tech, with the Chief Data Officer on data, and with the CISO on safety. The CISO doesn't kick the CISO out, they specialize and make the whole security team stronger. It's a powerful partnership. All right, now we get to the most important part of this whole quest. You can see the opportunity, you get the roles, so what skills do you actually need to step into this new C-suite? To be a CIO, you need that visionary's toolkit. And this isn't just about the tech, it's about leadership. Can you actually build a strategic roadmap? Can you change the whole company's culture to be driven by data? Can you walk into a boardroom and explain complex AI results in a way that makes business sense? Those are the skills that make a great CIO.
Now, for the CISO, the toolkit gets super technical and fast. This means you have to master key industry frameworks. For example, the NIST framework helps you figure out how to evaluate risk, while MITRE ATLAS is basically a catalog of all the dirty tricks attackers use against AI. Mastering these is what makes a CISO elite. Seriously, this slide, this is your new study guide.
You know, understanding all these roles and skills isn't just about boosting your career. For companies and for you, it's about grabbing a massive strategic opportunity that's happening right now and moving way faster than everyone else.
The demand for this type of leadership is just exploding. According to data from LinkedIn, the number of chief AI officer jobs has tripled in just the last 5 years. Companies are racing to get AI leadership in place.
And this is not some startup fad. The forecast is that in less than 2 years, over 40% of Fortune 500 companies will have a CAIO. This isn't a trend. It's a permanent, fundamental change in how the biggest companies in the world are being run. So the choice is becoming crystal clear. The companies that hire these AI leaders now, they're going to handle risks early, innovate faster, and build trust. The ones who wait are staring down the barrel of expensive cleanups, heavy fines, falling behind the competition, and watching their best people walk out the door. So here's the final takeaway. This whole quest for AI leadership, it's not on the horizon. It is happening right now. The absolute best time to start preparing for these roles was yesterday. The second best time is today. You have the map, you know the skills you need. The only question left is, are you ready to start your journey?